Check 1 2. Check. Mic for sound.
Can you hear me now?
Mute your.
Okay, so what is the issue on your side? Okay, just try now again. I can see you now. We can see. Yes, we can see you. Perfect. It's about to start. Wonderful. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting at 8:45 so that we're in time for our first presentation. So I have a humble request to all of us who are sitting at the back. Let's just move forward. Mr. Nyale on that side, come this side, since we are very few. Karibuni, karibuni. Just get settled. We have a presentation which is virtual starting at 9, so we'll start exactly on time. To those who are just joining us, Karibuni, please settle down so we start our program. We're delighted to have you this morning on our day 2 of the Affordable Housing Conference, where we're looking at how it can help us unleash the economic potential for Kenya and also in Africa. Our first presentation will be kicking off at 9 a.m., and that will be on scaling up housing finance, the Malaysia experience. And our presenter is already on standby, just waiting for us. But before we proceed with that, let's just have a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a series of presentations, panel conversations, and many things emerged. If I could just speak up something from the highlights from the Principal Secretary, State Department of Housing, focusing on providing land for areas suitable for human settlement, investing and providing infrastructure to those areas to help bring down the cost, availing tax incentives to enhance affordability of the homes, improving efficiency in transaction through processing, unlocking finance by accessing pooled resources, and made commitments towards, one, establishment of a multi-agency task force to be established in 2 weeks, and to undertake tax reforms within 2 months. Within 2 months was actually a specific mention to the issue of the stamp duty exemption for first-time homeowners. But I want to make this interactive so that we get different views in terms of what we took away yesterday. So just randomly coming to each one of us. Brother, just remind us your name and tell us what were 2 things which stood out for you yesterday.
Benson Kimani. One that stood out very significantly for me is the effort by the government to standardize building inputs. Because even within the SACCO industry, this will help our investment arms to be able to bring housing, because when you standardize, then it becomes cheaper, and then they'll be able to invest in that in a uniform where you can be able to interest members and you can be sure about uptake. So for me, the standardization will bring the cost to be standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Benson. Karibu sana, Bwana Jeff Odundo, and be there from NSC. Welcome, thank you. We're just doing a recap of some of the takeouts from yesterday. Brother, what really stood out for you yesterday?
Thank you. So for me, I think what stood out is the journey that we still need to go through to actually reform, especially the legal aspects on housing, and that I view that as actually a big opportunity to improve what we could do. So the presentation towards the end of the day by FSDK was quite insightful. Yeah.
That presentation by FSD Kenya highlighted about 140 pieces of legislation which need streamlining. Anyone else who would like to give us their takeouts from yesterday? Brother, just introduce yourself and what was the takeout?
Okay, my name is Mark Ambito. The takeout that we took yesterday was actually on the government endeavor on the Ministry of Lands nowadays to put up a law that is going to anchor insurance, so that when they give you the title deed, if anything happens on that piece of land, that you have to forfeit it, or maybe the building has to be demolished in case of another thing, then there'll be an insurance angle on it so that you can be compensated by the government. Thank you. And the second one is actually on the aspect of the Kenya, in terms of the KRA, zero rating, in terms of raw materials that are going to be used for manufacturing, for the affordable housing that are going to be imported. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And remember, the issue around zero rating is that you can claim your input VAT in card as a supplier. Any other takeouts from yesterday? What stood out for you? What are you carrying forward today? Bida, would you like to share with us?
Good morning, everybody. Yesterday was a heavy day. There was a lot of information being shared, and there was a lot of highlighting of the challenges that are facing the industry. But I think my key takeout was the fact that KMRC has seen an opportunity. They've been able to extend 7 billion with regards to affordable housing by getting wholesale funds and then depositing this or relaying this to investors or potential homeowners through the banking sector. Then the second thing that I also appreciated was the conversation for affordable housing, the context of investors and how to pull funds. And some of the conversations actually brought in the context of using the real estate investment trust and bundling that up with the incentives that KRA offers. So if you have 100 units that you're producing in a year, you actually do qualify for an incentive of paying corporate tax at 15%. However, that's anchored to getting the go-ahead from the Cabinet Secretary of Lands and Cabinet Secretary of Treasury. Now for us at the NSC, we do actually facilitate uptake of the real estate investment trust, and it really does make sense for companies that are doing over 100 units each and every single year. So just leaning into this particular incentive and trying to see how we can get REIT issuers to actually take part and be part and parcel of this incentives was very exciting for me, and I can't wait to hear about Malaysia and the other conversations today, so that we can also leverage on the capital markets to finance uptake of affordable housing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Mbithe, and just reminding us about REITs in the market. And CPF indicated they'll be putting something out soon, so we look forward to that. Any other takeouts from yesterday? The conversation we had around data, regulation, structuring of products as we go to market. Nyale, you want to share something with us from yesterday?
Yeah, I think one of the great things that's happened yesterday was the commitment by the PSS, both the PS for housing and the PS for National Treasury, as well as the CS, on the commitment to put up a multi-sectoral task force, so that then we follow through and implement all the resolutions that come up from this conference, and also to unlock all the bottlenecks which happens in various government ministries and departments, so that there's a synchronization in terms of where we're going. And I think that was also echoed by the lady from the KRA, who also said it's very important so that there's a coordinated approach. I think we also learned that from FDK, there are so many laws which govern the land processing issues that also need to be streamlined. And I think that task force, once it's put in place, it will be a very great starting point to start. And I think the commitment by the CS was that in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, working group in place to spearhead the implementation of these resolutions.
Thank you. And also here.
Good morning. I'm Olive. For me, I think my greatest highlights was from the CS lands when he spoke about the pending bills and gave his commitment that they are forwarding those to the 13th Parliament for enactment, which are supposed to support and spur the growth within the affordable housing sector. So he mentioned like 5 bills, 2021 bills, housing bill, and others that have been pending for a while. And also, I think my other key takeout was also FSD Kenya. I think they strongly supported, they gave the support to transformation and digitizing the exemption process, which I think Madam Margaret of KRA had stated that is quite manual as it is right now, and they would be wishing to automate that whole process. And FSD Kenya gave their support that they would be willing to support that process, and I think that is something to look forward to in future. Maybe in the next 1 or 2 years we see how that space will pan out in terms of automating that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. And Olive mentioned